Everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm so excited today to get a peek into Anjali Mangalgiri's beautiful Singapore apartment. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining and having a look at this and walking along with me as Anjali takes us along. And thank you, Anjali, for taking the time to do this.
Thank you, Natasha, for having me. It's always wonderful to have a conversation with you. I'm in my entrance hallway right now, and as you can see, it's full of plants. And I'm trying to manage with a selfie stick for the first time in my life. But yeah, I wanted my entrance to feel like a tropical garden, and that's why there are so many plants. Also, we have lots of windows in the hallways. We're extremely lucky. This is the true luxury to have. So, because of all the lights, the plants just do really well. You can see the giant here.
How did you find the apartment itself? And tell us a little bit about why you chose this place, because as an architect, I'm sure you're quite particular.
Right. So I'll turn the camera so you can see out of the window and you'll see what Singapore looks like outside my window. And
Hmm.
Singapore is full of condominium buildings, glass condominium buildings like you see in front of you. And then suddenly there are like a couple of these precious little four-story walk-up, old 100-year-old British apartment buildings in this neighborhood. They're called black and white. They're also painted black and white. We saw this apartment. This apartment is a three-bedroom, 2,500 square feet apartment, and it was just too big for us. We didn't have kids. I was still going to continue to do, to live in New York partially. Plus, I was doing work in India already. So I was myself was going to spend very little time in Singapore. So we let it go. And then 2 years after that, in 2014, we were actually in New York and we heard that this current apartment became available. And as you would expect, as you see, once you see the apartment, you'll see why. Most people never leave. So whenever, anyone rents an apartment here, they usually just stay here forever. Um, these apartments are historic. They're owned by the government to protect their status. And the government actually auctions them off when they do become available for rent. So it's an interesting process. You have to bid the rent. So we bid for this apartment without actually seeing it because we'd seen a similar one above us. And we bid a fairly high rent for it. And we won. So that's when we moved in. And then that was 2014. And the renovation that we did was in 2018. So that was after 4 years when we finally, or I should say me, I finally gave in to the fact that I will be living in Asia and I'm not going to go back to New York for a while at least. And so that's when we thought that, okay, you know what, let's just really make it our own. And we did a little bit of renovation, but it completely transforms the space. So I will show you what we did. Let me just stop walking. Why not? Just show you what I was talking about. I'm going to turn the screen. We're in the living room, and that's the kitchen. And that little plant that you see here outside in our balcony, I had a hornbill come sit right here.
Wow.
Can you believe it? And we were in the kitchen. We were here on the island eating breakfast, and the hornbills came and sat right there. So that's how gorgeous. Yeah. So that's how gorgeous it is to live here. And just to show you the historic trees, you see this one back in our sort of in this garden here. That tree is taller than this 8 or 9 story building.
This reminds me more of Bombay than what we imagine Singapore.
Exactly right. Like I feel that Singapore has this image of being completely artificial, but then here we found this beautiful space. And the renovation that I was telling you about was here. So wherever you see this black strip, there used to be a wall here. And that would separate the kitchen from the living room. And we also had, if you can make out, but these two beams here, we had another two walls here, and there was a store here. So
So,
the dining was kind of like, it was sort of like an L-shaped living room. So the dining was kind of straight down like this, and then there was a wall. So we tore down all the walls, and we've made our living room into one very large space. And I love the fact that we have windows on both sides, large windows, as you can see. They go pretty much all the way till the ceiling. And yeah, you can just imagine the cross ventilation and the lights that we get throughout the day. That's my younger daughter, Ila, who just woke up. And this is Joyce. Joyce lives with us, and
thank
she's our
you.
lovely helper. And even though the apartment is so lovely and everything, like you can see that we have, just cheap ceramic tiles, white ceramic tiles on the floor. So it's not fancy, but the bones of the apartment are so amazing, with the light and the high ceilings, that, these small sort of artificial things like flooring and finishes really don't matter at the end of the day.
I'm curious about that amazing paper chandelier above your table. So tell me about that. I always see it in the
That
pictures and it's so unique.
That chandelier is the love of my life. It's by these two designers who have a store in Goa in India, which is where I work. I had seen it years back, and I always thought that I'll have it, once I'll have a nicer place to actually display it. Yeah, I bought it and I hand carried it in the plane from Goa to Singapore, and it's absolutely fabulous. I think that first of all we have the space to display it. You see how beautifully that paper moves with the breeze. So it's almost, it's got movement, it's fluid, it's not static. It also completely transforms at night. So the way it works is that this is rice paper, and we've got like these sheets of rice paper that are hung, and in between is actually a tube light. So at night, and then there's kind of held inside the circular cutout, right? So at night that light kind of glows, and the paper around it glows as well, and it's very dramatic. In fact, you can see it from the street downstairs, and we've actually had people kind of come up and
Tell us a little bit about the furniture you source. I mean, with your connection with nature being so important to you, I love how the table has this organic wood form, and then also the day bed, like four poster. I don't know what it exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
that's just a beautiful piece.
So I'll start with the day beds. We have two. We have one here and then another one here. I love day beds. I feel like they're better than couches. I just don't see why someone would get a couch when you could get a day bed, which is so deep, right? And you could really like put your feet up, like really like, sink in. This particular one is what's called an opium bed. So they used to be actually in the opium dens in China. And I'm sure it's not an antique. It's probably kind of a recreation. But the point is, it's not overly ornate. It has just that little bit of decoration to give it character. But actually, it is quite contemporary. I also love the black finish. It's a black matte finish.
Mm,
So I feel like it just sits so beautifully within our black and white theme.
yeah.
This daybed also I love very much. It is this one in comparison is very contemporary. It has very few lines, but very neat and clean lines. So this is from a store called Scantique in Singapore. My table here is what's called a live edge table, which are very much the in thing these days. And the wood is called sour wood from Indonesia.
And the art on the walls is pieces you've collected over the years.
Yes, I would like this wall to be much, more busy than it is right now. But I've not really had a chance to acquire more stuff, which I would really like to do. They're beautiful things. This is a watercolor from a Bombay-based artist. This is a beautiful little thing. It's a watercolor, and then the holes have been done with a lit incense stick.
Oh,
And it's very, I mean, I really responded to this piece. Then this
I
is
like
a
that it's
favorite
in
of
the
mine.
embroidered embroidery hoop. It looks,
Yeah, in an embroidery hoop.
yeah.
Um, I also love it when artists like mix mediums. This is a photograph from Rajasthan, which also I completely adore. I mean, you have to see the details of like the necklace and stuff. It's just so
Wow.
beautiful. This is very interesting because this is actually an origami piece that was made by my husband. It was a 3 feet by 3 feet size of paper that he folded into, this kind of a fabric. And then this one is also very interesting. This is done by a friend's son. His name is Samar Roy, who's studying fashion. And I love it. It's like epoxy resin with, the sort of the dried plants on it. That is fish. It's a pomfret fish, which we all love. It, is a big, it's big in Bombay and Goa, which speaks to us and our lifestyle. And done by a young Singaporean artist whose father was a fishmonger and who would actually wrap fish in newspaper. And then another one also from the same artist in Bombay. Then I'll take you over to this new shelf that we have built, where I have a few smaller things that I like to display.
Ceramics.
This bowl, bowl from Japan, which I love. Um,
Beautiful.
these two are from Mexico City. These two are from Korea. We from actually bought from a Korean gallery in Singapore. Um, then this little thing is actually a wood piece by a lovely designer in India called um, Anantya is the brand. A lacquer piece from Kashmir. This is an incense burner from Japan again, and a little candle. This is a beautiful, I love this piece. This is a beautiful paper mache little thing, which again was we bought from Mexico City, but is actually comes from Oaxaca.
Mm.
This is from your side of the the world, from New England, I think. Um, yeah, and then this is old, the old oil burner,
Yeah.
um, little piece of wood picked up from a walk. This is a bowl that actually I did, which has whatever has a crack, so we can't use it anymore. And the New York City skyline.
Oh, I was remembering your love of Japan and pottery. And there's this book that I read when I was in college, so a really long time ago, and I don't know if it would hold up to time, but I would remember being really captivated by it, that you might enjoy. It was called The Road Through Miyama. And I
Oh.
just looked up the author in case you want to look it up. It's someone called Layla Phillip, and it was this young American woman who was an apprentice potter in Japan for a couple of years. And it was her sort of travelogue and the experience of this, how in Japan the master um, artisans of all kinds just have such a high standard for themselves and their apprentices. And the other one, which is related, which just came to me actually, it's called Cutting Back, where there's a young Brit, I think, or actually, no, she was American as well, who went to Kyoto and learned the art of pruning, the cloud pruning that they do.
Mm-mm. Talking about Japanese stuff, here is my beautiful Japanese noren. So you see these everywhere in Japan, right? These lovely curtains, which are split in the middle, and they come in all sorts of heights in Japan. I was absolutely fascinated, and I just went searching for the perfect noren for myself. And yeah, so this is what I got, which I absolutely love, and it's at the entrance of my bedroom. So it gives me just a tiny bit of privacy, and screen from my crazy sort of kid-oriented world outside. And it's got like this cherry blossom, and it's linen, so the way the light passes through it is also beautiful. This is also sort of reminiscent of the rice paper,
Mhm.
um, lamp that we've seen. And yeah, we'll escape into the bedroom while the pressure cooker does its thing in the living room. But yeah, that's the
Beautiful.
bedroom. And again, the point is look at the windows, right? Like
Yeah.
and half of them are actually still covered by the screens, but
Right.
who gets these
So much
kind of
light.
windows,
Yeah,
right?
beautiful.
And then, as you can see, we've kept the interiors really minimal. It's just a bed, the side tables, and then I have my cupboard, and that's about it. But then you don't need much to make a space which is already so beautiful, special. And
Yeah.
that also sort of,
Great.
we can also talk about here, like we could also talk about the difference between architecture and interiors, right? Like I always say that once we've done the architecture of the place and it's done beautifully, you can put any stone in your interiors. You can just go with the simplest materials, but it's going to be fabulous because your space is
Beautiful.
fabulous. It's the proportions, it's the way it frames the views, and all of those things. And those can live forever, right? Like your interiors you can change, but the architecture is what lives forever.
Mhm. I love this lamp behind you too. They're so cool.
From thrift stores, I wouldn't, they're like really a find from a thrift store in Singapore. They're Chinese lanterns, and as you can see, this still has the old hand painted glass.
Yeah, lovely.
So it's really pretty. Look at this one, it's really pretty. Again, color is minimal, but wherever is there is pretty bold.
Well, that's what makes it really soothing. I think you restrain the and the color palette is not too hectic. So it's a
Yeah.
beautiful combination, but it's not all white, and it really has so many natural elements that it feels warm. It's lovely.
Yeah, and also it's, I mean, the point is that if you just completely go all black and white or whatever, like it just feels very staged, right? So
Mhm.
there needs to be some element of bringing your personality into the space. I'll take you back into the living room. I'll show you a few more things. But these things here that you can see, we did them for a workshop that we did in Singapore, part of the Singapore Design Week, and we created these at home. So these are actually just, botanic
Yeah,
sort of samples
they're
that we picked up.
beautiful. Yeah, they remind me of old herbarium
Yes,
press sample specimens. My botanical
yeah.
training long ago. I love
So
those.
that was the inspiration. The herbarium was the inspiration,
Poetry
and
also.
Singapore just has such beautiful, um, like so many beautiful plants. It's like some of them feel like, I'll show you some outside in my balcony, but some of them feel like they've been individually hand painted.
Oh, gorgeous. This reminds me also of
And
your tiles, though, that you were making, that you've used in some
yes,
of the Goa projects with the pressed plant patterns. Those are beautiful.
yeah, I want to do more of those.
Yeah.
But I've not had a chance. Um, so here, let me just show you this one, okay? Like, you see how beautiful it is? You see, like, it looks like each
Amazing.
leaf has
Mm,
been hand painted. See that? I mean, it's
stunning.
so beautiful. Look at this one. This one has a pink too. You can't really see it. It feels
Cool
too
shape
dark.
too, though.
Look
Yeah.
at this one,
Gorgeous.
right? Yeah, so Singapore is just full of so much beauty, in terms of flora and fauna. I love this guy here, my,
Mm,
the
yes.
pink thing. And this one just stays here, and it does so well just because we have so much light coming in.
Mm.
Um, then we have these boxes here from Rajasthan, from Jaipur. These two little guys from New Mexico. And then these, there I have another
The
three
shadow of
pottery
the
pieces.
spiky plant too. So cool.
Sorry?
Shadow of the spiky leaves are beautiful on
Oh,
the.
the shadow, yes, yes, yes. And then I have three here again, bought from a thrift store. These three pottery pieces. They sort of have the same spout, theme going on. But I love them and I love the finish on them. This wood piece we picked up from a park when we were out cycling, and we actually like lugged it back home. And
Uh,
our lamps.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's stuff I do all the time.
Me too. And then these lamps, which again have a very botanic kind of a theme, are from a store here in Singapore. Yeah, and then I love this guy here. This he is a dragonfly. It's like a folded palm leaf. And I got it like from a street vendor in Vietnam. But it survived the journey, and I love having him here, right here. And again, because of the way it is, it's so beautiful. Like there's so much fluidity to it,
Yes.
and it like really feels like it's flying. Absolutely
So
love it.
cool. You know, amazing when I look at your place because I think of the things that I've dragged home from the park and everything. But what's challenging for me is to keep the palette so basically clutter free. So it doesn't look like it's lost in the middle of all the clutter. And yours looks so beautifully styled. And I wonder how you keep up. Do you just sort of clear clutter regularly or struggle
Um, we
stay
don't
on top of
have a
it?
lot of, I think we have areas defined for clutter. So my kids' room
Yeah,
is full of clutter.
sure.
Okay. And I let them just spread, even here, like they do spread out, they will bring their toys. And I love the fact that we have so much open space. So my daughter, you see how much open space we have, and it's not like carpeted or anything, right? So my daughter, actually, my older daughter Zoe, she actually takes her tricycle or her scooter, and she just actually like uses that to get around the house the
Right.
whole day, right? And my baby daughter now, who's just started crawling, also like can just be around in the whole space. We try to block off the kitchen, just because she's nowadays picking up everything from the floor. So we just like kind of guard off the kitchen and then let her be in the living room everywhere.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I don't really control them, but yes, I do have a very white palette, and I was always told that, oh my God, wait till you have kids, right? Or wait till your kids start running around. They'll keep knocking off your favorite things and stuff, but they don't do that because they kind of have been reminded of not doing it, and they understand the beauty of things. So they don't do it. Like they don't write on walls. They things are very actually easy to maintain here because the
Yeah.
day bed in the back, the black opium bed, has a bed sheet so that we can easily change.
Mm.
The day bed in the front also has changeable covers, and I have two sets, so I can just throw it in the washing machine.
Yeah.
So nothing here is high maintenance actually.
Mm.
Um, the chairs, the Eames chairs are actually plastic, so we wash them. We just wash them,
Yeah, I have
right?
two IKEA ones from the ends at my house too. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's
great.
actually easy. This house is actually very easy to maintain.
Thank you so much. This has been so amazing. I loved looking around and I hope to stay in touch, have you back on the podcast again and keep hearing what exciting work you're doing.
Thank you, Natasha. This was lovely. A great start to my morning.
Super. Have a great day. Thanks everyone for
Thanks.
watching. Bye.
Bye.